Hi guys, and welcome again to month 2, which is all about balancing the unity codes. And this week we are doing energetic mapping, which is basically trying to find your imbalances and where they are in your life. So today we're going to do a little bit of a ritual. It's not a huge drawn out one. And as always, first what I want you to do, and I do this, and you should be doing this before each video watch actually, so everything in here is actually a ritual, is to cleanse the space with smoke. I've just lit some sage incense. Okay, but you might want to use Palo Santo or some other type, and cleanse the space. You can do this also with sound bowls or music, like meditation music, or just with sheer intention. Okay, and our intention for this today is to tune into your body's energetic map. I was talking about chakras, I think, in the last video or the video before. And that's basically what we're going to be learning a bit more about today, but I will put more stuff about the chakras and the energy centers actually in the Facebook group anyway. Okay. And identify areas that are overactive, underactive, or in flow so that when we're ready to turn back to balance and harmony. Okay, so the other thing you can have is like a journal and whatever color pens you want to use. You might want to draw some cards, whatever. I have candles going. Of course, I have black for Anubis and I have red for Isis. Self-love type of energy. I've got water. I'm actually going to have to go and fill that up for the next one. And something where you can just kind of draw your balance map. I'm actually going to put a balance map template up on the Facebook group. So you can actually use that for this if you would like as well. Okay. And just you can use oils, essential oils. On the third eye, I have a room spray, which I kind of do that with as well. Okay, so what we're going to do to begin with is we're just going to begin with a karakia, being Māori. I will teach that to you, or you can use whatever prayer that you would like personally to use. Okay. Kia tau, kia tātou katoa, te ata whai o tātou arei ki ahuhu karai te me te aroha te atua, me te whiwhinga ko tahitanga ki te wairo tapu, ake, amene. And then you might like to do that body scan meditation as well again, or you can just do some breath work. Just to tune into your body again and just relax. I definitely feel like I need more water today, that's for sure. And as I say, light your candles as well. I was actually taught originally, but I'm using black because of Anubis and red because of Isis, or you can use white because white and black is all about balance. To use 3 candles, like white ones. One was for spirit, one was for angels, and the other was for I think my higher self or something. But I would always light 3 of them. So you might like to do that as well. Okay. Now what you may like to do is to actually look, and you can use either your intuition, you might like to use a pendulum, some people do that, or journaling prompts to assess, is this chakra or this center, this energy center, is it overactive, is it underactive, or is it imbalanced? What emotion, memory, or money story arises here? So those are your journal prompts for this. Okay, you can use colors or symbols to mark on your map as well. Okay, but I'm just going to go through with you each of the chakras, even though this is probably going to be put up on there anyway. Okay, so you can use the chakras, or you can use energetic archetypes if you like, whether that's inner child, divine, feminine, masculine, or life areas. You could do that as, but we're actually going to go through the chakra system, such as career, relationships, health, etc. So we're going to start off with the chakra, which is the lowest down in the body, which is the root chakra, and it is represented by the color red. And it is all about stability and safety. And grounding your energy really does help with this. You can also use red crystals if you would like. Okay, If it is blocked, you will tend to have issues with stability in your life, whether this financially, whether this is with your home, with your family, anything which makes you feel safe and secure, you will have issues with or an imbalance with. Okay, so if this was underactive, you would have, yeah, financial issues, house issues, um, issues within your family, anything to do with your stability. If it was overactive, you may be like a workaholic, you may have health issues due to overworking, being burnt out, issues perhaps with not even seeing your family, stuff like that. We may own, you're doing financially well and have lots of houses, but you're never fucking in them. Okay? It's a bit like that. But it is red, and it's actually at your tailbone as well. But as I said, I'll put all this stuff in the Facebook group. And then you've got your sacral chakra, which is orange, and it is just like below your belly button. Okay, a couple of inches. I think it's like 3 inches, they say, but wherever you intuitively feel it is where it is, but it is around there. And it is the color orange. And it's very connected to your womb space. Those of you who attended the Sacred Goddess Circle heard about it. This is the chakra that we actually focused mostly on during that womb healing. It is all about creativity and emotions. We actually have our own emotional center in this area. This is why I think a lot of people actually have got health issues, and if they actually release a lot of trauma and emotions from the area, they'd actually probably find that actually feel a hell of a lot better. But yes, there is a separate emotional center there. And also host your sexual energies. There's a lot of trauma and stuff that can be held there, which can be blocking you as well. And your creativity. Okay, so if you find it hard to actually create anything in this lifetime, or you get creatively blocked, say you're a writer and you have writer's block all of a sudden, it could be because you have blockages in that sacral chakra area. Okay, or maybe you make music and you're just having blockages with that. Just anything relating to being creative, there will be blockages in that, and this is how it will show up. If it's overactive, you'll spend a lot of your time doing creative stuff, but nothing else. Like you'll be constantly creating things, but you may not have a great home life because you're constantly creating and doing things all the time. Also, if it's really overactive and you'll be emotional a lot of the time because you're doing a lot of releasing in that area. If it's kind of overactive. Or you may have, like I say, with the sexuality thing, maybe you'll, I don't want to say, my guides want to say like a dog on heat. I don't know, like nymphomaniac type of vibe, or just out there hooking up with whoever, because it's far too overactive. Okay, that's what I'll say about the sacral chakra. Anyway, moving on. Then we've got the solar plexus, which is just under like where your boobs are, kind of thing, in this central area. Gosh, you can't see. And it is yellow. Okay, I equate the solar plexus with the sun. I think the sun is very helpful in helping to heal that energy center and bring it back into balance. And this is all about your willpower and your confidence, like your personal power. Okay, it is what gets that spark going and gets you going and makes you feel really good about yourself. Okay, so if this is overactive, confidence when it's overactive can be a little bit like self-centered and possibly narcissistic. Or you may be like, if it's overactive, you may be a lot in your ego a lot of the time, like you're the best shit that walks the earth, like you think you're like God's gift. But when it's underactive, your self-esteem will not be that great. You will not be that confident. You might be shy. You might kind of hide things or be quite withdrawn. That type of energy. Okay. So this is just you having to think about the ways in which you may be overactive in these energy centers as well as underactive. Then you've got the heart space. So when it is overactive, you basically love everybody. You give a lot of love. It's very open. You can get hurt really easily though if it's like really overactive and really open. And have connections, but you can become quite attached to people if it's too open as well, and find it very hard to let go of people. But when it's overactive, you have a lot of love to give. Sometimes that cannot be so great either, because you are giving and not really getting anything in return. So just balancing that out, right? Yeah, so it's all about love and connection with others, which is great, but you may be taken advantage of if it was like too open or get hurt really easily, or like people pleasing is what I just heard as well. Okay, so when it's underactive, well, you may be a hater. I'm just gonna say, okay. And this is the extremes, right? Of like being overactive and underactive. It's like, fuck, I hate everybody right now. Or you'll just be, it could get into like anger or sadness, or so just going to those from like one extreme to the other. But we need to actually be balancing that out, right? But we're talking about underactive and overactive here, so we are kind of looking at the extremes. Okay. And then we've got the throat, was all about expression and communication. When this is overactive, you'll be able to speak your truth, not a problem. Okay, a lot of people may be triggered by that, not your problem. Okay, you may talk too much though, which can kind of be draining for other people, or like you're not actually respecting them because you're not listening to what they have to say. So you may not be a very good listener. Okay, because you're constantly the one doing all the freaking talking. Okay, you got the gift of the gab, but you won't shut up. Okay, this is when it's overactive. When it's underactive, you won't want to communicate. You won't speak up. You won't speak your truth. You won't be able to express yourself when you need to actually express yourself. Okay, this can block your authenticity quite a lot. Okay, especially in combination with your solar plexus is what I want to say to you guys. Okay, so just looking at that one as well. The third eye, intuition and vision. When this is overdone, you will be quite feminine with this, because you'll be quite intuitive, but you'll kind of dismiss logic because you'll be so in your intuition that you'll just go with it, but you won't have any logic. Like, you'll be so overactive with it. You'll also find you get headaches, because that's what I find when I overdo my intuition, be quite tired, that sort of stuff, because you're overdoing your intuitive side. But you may neglect any logical decision making when it is overactive as well. Okay, and you may have a lot of visions and things. So it needs to be a lot of grounded energy with this as well. I mean, you don't want to get into like spiritual psychosis or anything like that, because once it's open, it's kind of open. Okay, so be very wary of that as well. So let me know about that. And then we've got the crown chakra, which is all about spiritually in unity. Okay, so this is connecting with unity, consciousness as well, and you will find that when you open up these codes, you will connect with like wholeness, with like being one with all, Christ consciousness, all that kind of stuff. It's being very connected to all that is when it comes to unity. Okay, so the crown is all about spiritual unity. So when this is overactive, you may be so into spirituality that you neglect other parts of your life, whether this is your personal life, your family, your home life, any other activities that you might have, or things that you may be interested in, or just getting everyday shit done, whether that's the laundry, cooking, cleaning, whatever. Okay. And you may find, you just be careful with like spiritual psychosis and things like that, and that you don't end up so connected to out there and there that it just becomes overwhelming, and it's like you're almost like not there, like you're not in your body, is what I want to say. So definitely make sure, especially with the third eye and the crown chakra, that you are very connected to your body and to the earth still as well. So yeah, when this is underactive and you completely ignore your spirituality, you're going to find there's not a lot of growth in your life, or you're just going to feel like very disconnected from others. And as I say, if you neglect your spirituality, I will just say from personal experience that when there's been times in my life where I was like, oh no, this is not happening to me, I must be crazy. This is like not. Whenever I would try, I would think, no, this can't be. I can't be talking to spirits or dealing with angels or whatever. Then I would have something weird happen. that would always call me back into working this area as well. So I will find that when you kind of feel disconnected, you kind of, if you're meant to be working, I want to say, in spirituality, you will find you always get called back in like some weird way. You're like, oh, okay. But that's just a personal thing that I wanted to share with you guys. Okay. But as I said, I will find a template for this balance map so you guys can create one. Okay. And also journal with some prompts as well. You can do like the body scans and breath work, do the body scan meditation, use your pendulum, oracle cards. Okay. And just basically ask, where am I feeling depleted? Where am I overextending or pushing too hard? What am I avoiding? Okay. And I want you to use green, the color green, for what is balanced. I want you to use the color red for where things feel like they're overactive on your map. And use blue for where you feel things are underactive. Okay, and you can also rate each of those chakra energies from 1 to 10. 1 to 3 being underactive, 4 to 7 and feeling balanced, and 8 to 10 is where it's overactive. And just note any patterns or imbalances, okay? Just reflect on this. So, for example, an overactive solar plexus, you may be in hustle mode. An underactive heart might be feeling closed off or disconnected from others. You may have built a wall up around your heart space, is what I want to say, okay? But then you want to balance the map with action. So this is grounding if you have an underactive root chakra. Creative play if you have a blocked sacral, so just getting into some creativity, having some fun with that, whether that's just drawing, doodling, writing, music, anything like that, even dance, okay? And if you have an overactive ego or solar plexus, shadow work is good for that as well, okay? But I'm going to make a printable digital balance map template for you guys to use. Anyway, so is there anything else? I've actually got some notes here as well. So when I say use oracle cards, you might want to pull a card for each area, for each chakra, and you know what comes through. And ask, what does this part of me actually need right now? An optional thing is that you can actually go and do some mirror work if you want, and speak love, forgiveness, or empowerment to each part of that map out loud if you would like. Okay, then what I want you to do is I want you to drink some water or cacao just to symbolize. We're just going to, this is the integration part of your ceremony. And you can use movements, whether you want to do dance. We did do some of that in one of the earlier ones. You can do shaking. Shake your body as well, shake. Or just do some yoga. Okay. So a lot of that was in the feminine energy activation part. So if you guys want to go back and look at that. And then we can close off with some sounds. So you could use sound healing bowls, humming, singing, and just play some music. And then just thank your guides and your ancestors as well as your body. And then blow out the candle. Okay. So I just want you to go through that for yourself. I'm going to put a copy of the balance map template up on the Facebook group, so go and check that out. And I will see you guys in the next video where we are going to go through some journaling prompts together.